Right now, I know you're watching every single business show on YouTube. You're learning about ChatGPT, you're learning about all the AI, you're learning about all the things that can make you more efficient. But there's one thing they're not telling you. It's who your ass needs to become in order for you to be the man you believe you'll be in that room. It's the only thing that nobody says to you, right? Who are you actually becoming? Where are you improving yourself? I could tell you a story where I've made 40 grand in one meeting and run for it, like cook food in my 20s. Who's gonna tell you that who you need to become, the man who goes into a room, who just attracts people like rice with the vibration of your spirit, is what you should really be working on. Don't worry about ChatGPT, it's gonna do its job. Don't worry about all this automation, it's gonna do its job. And I'll just tell you this about automation. When people get to a particular degree in business, we see through it. It has no integrity. We know it's not aimed at us and it's aimed at a million people. And most people in my seat don't even open those communications. These are the things that you're not being told in this war of efficiency. I remember I had a clothes shop for 11 years and I had these Ethiopian guys come through. And you know what they were asking for? You said lazy man suit? And me and my man looking at each other, what the hell is a lazy man suit? A lazy man suit, lazy man, you know, lazy man suit. Then somebody walks through in a tracksuit. He's a lazy man suit. We had no idea. You can get all the tools to be a lazy man, but what you actually require to be sitting in the chair when you're quoting Warren Buffett is radical self-accountability. There's no ChatGPT that's gonna give you that. There's no ChatGPT or any other tool that's going to prepare you for the levels of loss required for you to gain genuine appreciation of what you have. So if I were to give you 100 quid right now, you're sitting looking at 100 grand on the table, making letters out of it like Mayweather and 50. What are you going to do with it? What is your plan to turn that 100 into 500? To turn that 500 into a ticket, to turn that ticket into 5 tickets so you can buy a freehold and look after your family? What's your plan? Or are you planning all the material things, the toys and the waste, the subterfuge, the confusion that you would invest in? Because that's not it. And whilst you still have all that human monkey chatter, it's not to say that you can't have those things, but whilst those things are your desire, you're still not the man that you desire to be, that goes in a room and holds all the attention. Because the man who goes in the room and gets the attention of all the women is the man who's not looking for it. That's why he gets it. And that's who you need to be. So let's go through the steps. The first step is you've got to stop worrying what people think about you. It sounds like the hardest thing in the world, because this is the thing. If anybody knew my secret face, my dirtiest, darkest secrets, well, how dark are they? Have you got child images in your computer? Because that's the only one you're not coming back from. Everything else that you have a predilection to, that you think is dark, is normal in the minds of men. Heterosexual grown men, trust me. So, what is it that you really care about when I speak about the great unwashed? So first, let me define them. The great unwashed are people who haven't developed themselves past the programs that they received in school, so that when they watch the news, they still watch it like it's 1983 and they'll be first in line to get their injection. And that's okay, there's room for them. If we're on a Titanic, I'm not trying to convince them. They are the ones who will be sitting in their chair, eating their escargot, waiting for the ship to go down, watching the band play and smiling at each other. Don't worry about them. I'm only looking for the lifeboat. And if I do this, and you catch my eye, if you know the guy who's following me, I'm not gonna say one word to you. I'm just gonna find the lifeboat, lower it, and me and my son are gonna be in it. What the great unwashed think don't matter. Will Smith is a superhero. I'm not capable of being that man. You, irrespective of your ego, are not capable of being that man. That man boxed a man in his face on his night, defending his wife's honor, and the entire world turned against him. So fuck them and who they know. That is the great unwashed I'm talking about. Nobody cares about you that much. So all the things that you are hiding from the world with shame and disgust don't actually matter, because you're not that important. And those are the reasons why you're in your own way. The first part is getting out of your own way by cutting off what the great unwashed think about you. It doesn't matter. And when you've done that, you're actually free as a man to be in a world that can be as creative as you can be. And when you start to realize the levels of creativity required to become a millionaire and retain it, you'll start to do the research because you don't mind standing out. What is a trust? Oh, I'm supposed to use my first 5,000 to set up a family trust. So now I'm not paying tax. So that I don't personally own anything in my straw. It's all in the name of the trust. Now I actually have the vehicle to gain the wealth that I originally thought of. Or are you going to be someone who'd bust your ass and be paying tax on your house every year just because you own it? That don't make any sense. You see, the minute you stop worrying about what the great unwashed think, you start asking what the 1% actually do, because they don't care. And if you are in any misapprehension as to who the great unwashed are and the 1%, look at Boris. Boris looked like a fool, right? He messes up his hair, goes into a room, just talks nonsense, lies, knows that you know he's lying. But if he's in retention of an 800 grand loan from the man that he put in a position at the BBC, what does he care? He's won. Winning ain't got to be pretty. So now, if Boris can do that, he actually beat up his fiancée during a political election whilst he was running. The police were called to his yard for screaming, and he didn't care. What dark secrets are you hiding from? What do you think matters that much? Change your relationship with the story that you tell yourself about you. Because the only reason you're not going after bigger money is based on the story that you are telling you about you. People like us. Are you like the great unwashed? Do you not know that you're listening to me for a specific reason? Do you not know that the closest 4 people to you wouldn't sit through this? They would have cut it off because it's boring. I'm not saying anything interesting. And I'm saying it in a more resonant way to you than a European man is going to say. So if you aren't hearing this, are you really cut out to be the man that can hold $1 million in your hand? Are you cut out to be the man who will go into a room, keep all of your vernacular, all of your confidence, and close a deal and know that when you walk away, nobody's got anything over you because you won. You took the resources out of the room and that was all that was necessary. So that's the first degree. When we talk about degrees, the first one is the cremation of care. Do I care what the great unwashed think about me? No. Now, I'm not telling you not to care what anybody thinks about you. That's now based on your behavior. The second arch degree. How do you treat people that matter? Do you take advantage of people? Do you use them? Or do you treat them like the gold that they are and allow them to know at every stage of your process that it's not possible for you to take them for granted based on how you treat them and value them? Now, if I gave you a baby to hold in your arms and said, take care of that baby, would you treat your teammates or your staff who you pay in the same way that you would take care of that baby? If not, again, you're not ready to be that guy. Because don't believe for 1 minute all this bullshit about nice guys finish last. You're not going to be a nice guy, because then you couldn't be an advocate in the room. But trust me, the people who are here on the last floor of development are kind. And those people's kindness precedes them. And that's why people will jump over a cliff with them with no parachute based on an idea. Because it's bigger than them. It's not because the individual likes them. It's because they know the proposition they're involved in will inevitably be worth millions. Are you there? Is your trajectory carrying you there? These are the things that you need to develop within yourself. The third stage, after you know that everything you do matters in how you treat your team, how you treat your loved ones, how you treat your children, is how you prepare your work. If your work is substandard, and I mean if you knew that within 5 paragraphs you didn't put a full stop on one of them, and you'd sent an email and you could catch it, delete it, go back in the Word document again and put that full stop in there, attach it and resend it, would you? Is that how closely you pay attention to detail and how much you think about the quality of your work? To say whatever anybody says about my work, I know it's not that, it's personal. And that's the haters, which is why you have to get rid of the human monkey chatter from the great unwashed. Do you care about the standard of your work that you would change one full stop? I do. I've done it. I will be putting out my work and I know the mistake is in there. I'll delete the version that has rendered after 10 minutes. I will go back, I will re-edit, and I will let it render again. And I will put up what I'm happy with. Is your attention to detail that? Because that's the guy who can get the million. Now I'm going to confuse you on the next point. Because I'm telling you, getting started doesn't have to look like perfection. We're on Windows 11, right? But you heard of Windows 7. Now imagine if Bill Gates didn't release Windows until he got to the stage of Windows 11. I said winning doesn't have to look pretty. And this is where it can sound contradictory. Because a lot of us, specifically melanated people, when it's perfect and I'm going to move it, and in 99 iterations, then you're going to do it. 2 years later, somebody has perfected your idea with a team because they had all the elements, put it out, it's made $1 million and you missed the boat. And you said, yeah, that's what I was going to do and I missed the boat. Because you were supposed to put out Windows 7. Perfect it as much as you can, but be in the market now, perfecting the iterations to get to Windows 11. Now that sounds contradictory. In your presentation, make it the best you can make it based on what you have. But get in the market. Do you think anybody is going to be great at sex from watching porn? No. You got to get in bed where it's messy. You got to be right opposite her, sweating. And you got to mess up. Oh, sorry. And do you know what you do? You get back on the horse until she looks at you like a sex god. But you only get that from being in the field, because it's really in the field. What's in your head doesn't matter. It's not real. It's real in the field, and you have to get in the field. Some of us are constantly starting. Like, I won't see somebody for 5 years and they'll tell me they're still perfecting this thing. Do you know how many things I've made money from during that season? That they've been perfecting what they're doing. I've got involved in an industry that I wasn't even working in. Youth work with a brother, and we've drawn down 12 grand, then 16 grand, and delivered X amount of programs, and they've done nothing. Perfecting. And I know I couldn't even get money in that time. And I write a bid for somebody else's organization, and I know it's going through. So these are the things where we're in our own way based on the story that we tell ourselves. So now I have to be transparent with you. How did I get to the point where I stopped caring about the human monkey chatter? where I stopped caring about the obstacles and all of these things that were in front of me. Well, herein lie the tools that SigmaCarta is providing now. I listened to learning materials in my delta state, in my theta state before being asleep, and I completely rewired my subconscious mind over the course of 2 years. I'm a regular guy with a regular dick just like you. If I can do it, you can do it. These are the free materials that SigmaCarta provides that I want you to consume at night to rewire synaptics that aren't currently connected. Synaptics that go from nothing to something. So when you are actually thinking about what you want to create, you are no longer in a void of having to invent it. You've already been telling your subconscious mind is a bin, and everything that you throw in that bin is gonna stick. Now, you don't realize just how much you might be going to bed with the TV on, listening to the news. You might be listening about terrorism and propaganda and murder and how the economy is bad. What are you putting in your subconscious mind? Why do you think you're so concerned about a crash or the price of food rising when the world is abundant? You could create a subscription proposition tomorrow and make 5 grand before you wake up. But instead, you were listening about the crash, and now you want to leave your business proposition and go and get a job to give your 40 hours a week to somebody else. Now, I've got on stage and spoken and invoiced £1,000 for my 40 minutes. I've gone into a room with men who charge 5 grand for that same 40 minutes, and a man who says he's going to invoice for 10. So what are you planning on doing with your 40-hour week based on fear? Because you know what I'm saying right now in front of this camera is making me an authority in my area where I'm gonna go and get £1 grand for speaking for 40 minutes. What does that tell you about what you're worth? Are you telling me you can't get 100 for speaking on your expertise in your area? So now let's explore how we make ourselves an authority in our area of discipline.